So weird. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, this is Crazy Land. Hey, welcome everybody to Sunday Live Chat. And today we've had just a typical.
Yeah, this is Crazy Land. Hey, welcome everybody.
Yeah, turn off that. We've got a new computer here. So basically, what's going on is all this crazy stuff. We've got Dre, you there?
I'm in space.
Yeah, I'm here too. Let's see, this is muted. That's good. Okay, so let's go and see if our special guest is here. I believe he is. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome you to a whole new Sunday Live experience. As a matter of fact, our special guest is going to be previewing. Just turn on your camera again there, sir.
Yeah.
And do you ever see that old show, What's My Line?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please sign in, please?
Okay.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest today, Charles Levi. Charles, you looking good, brother.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you.
And we have our guest host here, Mr. Databomb Dre, the guy with 700 names.
Yeah.
What about mine?
Zombie Dre.
Let me turn on the cat cam.
Yeah. I want to make sure that everyone can see us okay. Dre, you checking in on the chat there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone can hear us. Somebody said no sound, but I think there's sound now. Is there sound now? Chat.
Hello.
Chat on. Is there sound?
Yeah, my
Oh
sound.
no. Okay. Guy had his computer on mute. Okay, we're good.
Okay, we're good to go. Okay, let's roll. It's a new computer today. And with all that comes like all these sorts of like unbelievably bizarre things that we can do. I mean, guys, we're at the meeting here.
There we go. I love this.
Sunday Live Chat is now here to analyze your demos and check all the things that you would.
Yeah.
I love this. It's ridiculous. It's all the corporate thing.
Yeah, the cushions are really nice and comfortable.
Yeah, it is nice and comfy. Charles, how are you doing? I hear that you are now in the lovely state of Oregon.
No, I'm in Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. What am I thinking? Oregon. Of course, Colorado.
Yeah.
And I mean, you had you lived in Colorado before, or is it a new experience?
No, it's a new experience. I'm Chicago through and through.
Chicago boy.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Raised?
Yeah. But now the healthcare here is much better. You know, I at least get to talk to my doctor, you know, or my the people who take care of me. At least I can have a conversation with them instead of like 10 minutes and then off to another appointment. You know, here they talk to me, we get to know each other, and keep a contact. You know, keep a rapport, which is far from being in Chicago. In Chicago, I don't even know. The doctor would say something and I wouldn't even understand him. You know.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's healthcare is so essential in that sense.
Oh.
I was living in Canada and then came down here and realized it's almost like not having a doctor anymore. We lose zombie.
Coming down here is like that. I mean, coming to America. I mean, seriously, I was just like a number. I was just a cat, figure. And the doctors, here the doctor I spent at least an hour and a half with the doctors, and I got to know them. And they never sent all my medical records, so it took a while for that to come through from Chicago. So it was, it was dragging from Chicago. But when they got sent everything here, finally, I even got closer relationship with the doctor. So that was even cool, So.
It's amazing to see you looking great and everything. I know that a lot of us have been always checking in to see how you're doing. Even on a previous chat here with Martin, we were talking about you and donating to your GoFundMe, which I would like to say right now, people, Charles has a GoFundMe, and when you're running over legal, not so much legal, but as much as medical expenses these days.
Yeah.
It's absolutely overwhelming. So basically, any help that any of you guys can give, it would be great to see this number go up by the end of the chat. It is linked in the chat here today. So it's, providing Charles with all of the essentials to cover the situation which is happened to you. What happened to you exactly, Charles? Can you want to go into some detail?
Yeah, I had fallen into sepsis.
Bless you.
Allergies.
Yeah, I gotten sepsis, and I guess it pretty much got me out of commission. My leg was infected, and I was in a coma for at least 3 or 4 days, and had strokes, and fought that off, and I couldn't believe it. It scares me when I think about it. When someone tells me about it, and Martin told me that he was there when I was in the room by myself, and no one was there except him. And thank God for my girlfriend, I finally got in touch with her after 28 years. 28 years. We've been in touch we got back in touch with each other, and she really panicked. And so they kept me up, gave me transfusions, kept holding on. I kept holding on, and then finally I pulled through. And I didn't even know.
You've been through it all: transfusions and your liver and your kidney was affected as a result of the sepsis, and all sorts of,
and my heart,
and your heart, and anything that your blood flow is absolutely must be affected through everything. And can we talk about you lost a limb?
Yeah, I had to get my left leg amputated below the knee, and that was a shocker. I mean, I remember the doctor saying to me, I overheard him saying, "We're going to take the leg off," and I was
oh my God.
I was like, "What?" And
oh my God.
Yeah, so
That's gotta be terrifying.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, it was. So finally, they I remember laying down. They took the leg off, and the next day, then when they did the procedure, it didn't hit me all the way until I realized, wow, there goes my foot. It's gone, done. My accessibility, my whole what's the word? My whole mechanics was like out of whack. I couldn't believe it. I had to get used to prosthetic. That was the thing. Prosthetic was like, God. I've seen people with them, and here I am with one, and that really, really shocked me. Took me for a loop. And I had to practice with that. I had to practice accepting the fact that I'm used to going to do one thing, go to point A or point B, just getting to what I need to get to. That wasn't happening no more.
It's something that I get. Most of us can't even imagine. Sending my respect to you, Charles, for this the experience. And you're so humble about it. In my discussion with you and talking about doing a chat, you're like one of the most humble people about it all and everything, and it's just amazing.
Yeah. Thanks, man. It's really, I'm gonna tell you, I really see how healthcare and things like this happening, how important it is to be an advocate for it, because people that care for you, that I had, that were like doing my rehabilitation, and I'm getting caught up, emotionally over it. But like for me running around on stage, walking, being able to do things on my own. Now, you know, I had to be coached to learn how to do this again. I had a prosthetic now, and they gave me, in Chicago, they gave me like a prosthetic that was like for dinosaurs. When I got here, my girlfriend really pushed for me to get another one, and my rehab, my physical therapist worked with me, and now I'm walking. I can walk. You know, I can walk. I can get up. I can, my limbs are cool. I'm getting better at it. My heart is like, I have a heart monitor now. So I used to be scared to fall asleep because I didn't think I would wake up. I'd be scared, am I going to wake up?
I can only imagine.
Yeah, and so I would be terrified to go to sleep. And finally, my girlfriend said, "There's you have a monitor. It gives you a signal to wake you up if you have any abnormals or activity that's detrimental to my being alive."
Right.
And so she says, "You can go to sleep, but you won't die. The monitor will react to my symptoms." And so it's right here in my chest here. And so I'm like, wow, that's something to think about. I know how that shock feels when they tested it. Oh God, it felt like my brain was sizzling. And I wanted to knock everybody out. I was like, whoa, what is it? What was that? What was that jolt? And the nurse goes, "Oh, it's working. He's okay." And I was like, hell no. Oh God, I want to go off.
I'm sure most of us are thinking right now about how we've seen how many people that have hurt their legs or not been able to stand and perform anymore by using, chairs and all sorts of great things. I can see someone's going to come and make some way that you'll be just fine. I can imagine that. How do you feel though? Do you feel like getting back yet, or are you making music still?
Yeah, well, it hasn't been a full year yet, but my mobility is really I'm getting good at it. I'm able to walk. I'm practicing my fingers, my dexterity, and everything is coming back to it. Getting an appetite for it again.
That's amazing.
And now that I'm totally sober, so totally clean, it's like nutritious for me to be excited about it. I really think I sent a message to you about how my ghost pain, it's like, wow, it's really effective. It's like there's got to be a way to, when I hear music now, I really, really embrace it. It really makes me feel really good. And the ghost pain in my limbs, it's like I look at my leg and I go, wow, I want to scratch my toe, but there's no toe there. So it's like a ghost limb. So I go, wow. It's like, well, why am I still getting those feelings? But I'm getting used to it a little better now.
Do they say that will ever subside, or is that just something that?
No, I don't think it ever go. I mean, even right now as I sit here, I feel like I can wear shoes now. I put a shoe on my prosthetic leg, and it feels like my toe is at the top of my shoe, and I want to move it, and it's like I don't have no toe there. I don't have a foot, So that right there is a shocker, And as far as my cerebral, my whole mind, it's like takes a little bit to register, but I'm getting used to it, and I just gotta get healed. I gotta get well, heal up. My the strokes I've had, I'm conquering them. getting over, not letting it overpower me and just succumb to it. I'm just gonna keep on fighting, And thanks to guys like you, thanks and Dre, you guys make me keep going, because
and you look and sound amazing. So I just want to say yes. Keep going. I mean, it must be really inspiring to know that you like have conquered all these things and are moving forward. And thank you to your girlfriend for all the care.
Danny is she's my I've known her for 28 years in the business.
Oh, right.
Yeah, she worked at the rave in Milwaukee.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah, when I first saw her, it was like this little tiny woman screams at me for having the door opening the door, and it was going in the box office, and she's like, "Who is this jerk? He's a jerk," And of course, me walk in, and I go, "Where's the loaders?" And because we're coming in the front, and she's like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And I talked to her, and she was cute, and I said to myself, I said, she's really cool. She wouldn't give me the time of day, like he's such a player. I know him, and finally, I started talking to her, and she responded, and we had a conversation, and we talked, and the whole time I was there, the band was in the dressing rooms. I was in the ticket booth talking to her and running errands for her. And I said, "What are you doing? Aren't you going to see the show? I'm not tooting my horn, but are you going to see the show? What are you here for?" And she goes, "No, I'm just here in the ticket booth. I'm working. This is what I have to do." And I said, "Why are your books all around the place?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm going to study to be a doctor. That's what I'm going to do." And I went, "Oh my God, this girl is going to see wants to be a doctor." And here I am talking to her like a guy, and I fell in love with her.
Oh,
yeah, I did. I was like,
great story.
Yeah, I was like, wow, what the hell? She's going to be a doctor. I would be nice, but because of my my maverick ways, she we kept in touch, but then we parted ways for 28 years, and the day before I started to get to the hospital, about a month before I wound up getting this ailment, the sepsis, we got in touch. We got back in touch again and touched base, and she was caring about me then, and I was and I went to the hospital, and then when I went in for a while, she's been with me. She's been by my side through the whole thing,
That's essential here. You can see the results.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
Did you kind of have a feeling like it was you conquered a huge demon there at the same time? Have you come out the other side with a perspective?
Oh yeah. Definitely, man. I mean, like when I found out that I was out, in a coma, I didn't. All I know is when I came to, in 3 or 4 days, when I came to, I thought I was in the waiting room in either heaven or hell, and I heard these beep beep, these signals going on and off, and I couldn't see because it was blurry, and I heard the nurse talking, and I thought I was in purgatory. I didn't know whether I was in heaven or hell, and I moved, and she goes, "Oh, he's moving," and my hands were wrapped up, and I was thirsty as hell, but she saved my girl Danielle's her name. She was there, I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I'm a little emotional, but it was really. I didn't know. Martin told me I was out for like 3 or 4 days, and he was talking to me, and I can hear him talking to me. He's like, "You're on the stage in 2 minutes, Charles. You had to get ready." And
was that medically induced coma?
no, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. And I was like that, yeah, for 3 or 4 days, I believe. 4 days, I think, kind of.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, that was it. It scares me to think that I was out of commission that long, And my sisters, they're like my heart and soul, and they were by my side, Martin was there, and I couldn't really speak or anything, but all I know is that I said to myself, I guess I'm still alive. I guess I'm still here,
Do you see it as like a new start and a time that you can look back on everything with a perspective that is bringing on this new light that you seemingly shining bright from?
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, most definitely, And just right now, this is the first contact outside of, me being in my getting well. I'm not in Chicago. I'm in my godson's place, and I'm just here, healing. And this is the first time I'm interacting. And like it was the first time I talked to Dre, and Dre was like, "Wow, he made it. He's alive."
Yeah.
No, dude, that totally tripped me out because I'm sitting here and then I see, oh, my Facebook Messenger is going off. It's like you got a video chat incoming with Charles Levi.
Yeah.
And I was all like, okay, who's fucking around? Let me see what the hell's going on. And no, it was the homie. So yeah, that was a major surprise,
Black from the dead.
Yeah, Black from the dead.
Yeah. Yeah. That was funny.
Blackenstein.
Classic.
Yeah, that was a total trip to me because I'm not sure if any of you guys know that one of the drummers from Course of Empire was in a coma for quite a while as well. So it was just like one of those things going on, that was kind of freaky. He so can't really communicate, you're definitely in way better shape than he is right now, he so can't chat and all, but yeah. To have something heavy like that happen, and then it's like, oh shit, there's the homie, that's crazy. And I love it that your demeanor, and energy has been the same since I met you, even with all this crazy shit going on, that's admirable,
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
It's good to have survivors on the show. And see firsthand, so that people can feel good, because it makes us all feel good to see you smiling.
Thanks. Out all the years I've known you, every time I would get a chance, I would like eventually make my way in the vicinity to confront each other and talk. It was always tons of people around, and I would like either see you or not, or something would be happening, and I just see you in the distance, see this tall guy. That's Kevin. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Let's go over there where Kevin's at. But hold on, we got to do this, and then fans. And I talk to fans. Always, fans are the heart and soul of everything. So I talk to them. Be it good or bad.
Yeah, we've been in each other's vicinities many times, but never had the chance to sit down.
Yeah.
So it's about time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking. I was glad. I was amazed, and I was glad. When I saw the interview with Martin and everything, I guess I was in the coma during the time, or
Yep.
And he really, 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 really touched me very much. So
it seemed like Martin was getting emotional when I asked him, because I don't think he was expecting me to first talk about you.
yeah. That's what really happened. And I was like, out of all the years I've known Martin, he's always, his business wise, he has, there are some people that have their, their beliefs or what they think. But there's one thing I know is that whenever I needed something or wanted something, I would I would tell him, and he would come, he's come straight forward with me at it, and it was never no shucking, if I had a complaint or anything, it was always ironed out. It was always something cool, so my doubts or anything have been long surpassed, so he's like a very close friend.
He's such an awesome guy. The love that he gives to his friends and family in Pigface and even people that haven't joined Pigface. He's such a loving guy, and long term too. He'll never sway. And when you went down, he had your back louder than anybody, and I thought that was really really cool. So big up to Martin.
Big up Martin. Big up Martin. Martin.
Let's pick up Martin. He's had back surgeries recently, so
we're all getting old, right? It's like Charles, when did you start into music in the Chicago scene? What got you into it?
Well, as a teenager and growing up, I know that I worked for Jam Productions, and what happened was I never would pay to go to a concert. I always snuck in, and the Jam security, Jam production guys were hellacious. They were like the new version. Like if the Hells Angels wanted to work for Jam, that's what they would call themselves, Jam Productions. And Jolly Rogers was the leader.
Oh wow!
Oh my God! Let me tell you, I seen Jolly to just strike fear. He would strike fear in the hearts of many. And,
of course.
Yeah,
really.
That's survival tactics.
He was our tour manager for a couple tours.
Oh yeah, I know. So what happened is, I would go get my paycheck, go sneak it. We get our little group together, and we go and sneak into the concerts. And finally, one time, after a while, they started looking out for us. Like we were the clan that tested their authority. And so, like, if you were trailing in the back end of a group of us getting in, like, and all of a sudden these Jam guys come, we scattered. They could never catch any of us. But if they did catch you, you were thrown out, and we sneak back in. But I always escaped. And so one time, Jolly came up, and after a while, when the shows were over, and we wait till everyone leaves, we scattered. We would go and scavenge. We find all kinds of paraphernalia.
Great.
We find shirts and T-shirts people lost, got drunk.
I think, didn't you say that Thin Lizzy was a big?
Oh yeah, yeah. So this is what happened. So Jolly comes up to me and says, he comes up to a group of us and says, "Which one of you meatheads want some pizza and beer?" And so everyone's like, yeah, well, I want some. How come? Instead of throwing us out. So I said, wait, I'll go. Well, let's go. So we went into this room where we followed him in, and I saw all the guys in the security. They saw us walk in. They were like, "Oh, those are the jerks." And he goes, you guys did the worst. This is the worst security job I've ever seen you guys, at. And he said, I ought to get these guys. These guys ought to work for me. He asked, hey, you guys want a job? And I go, yeah, yeah. At first I thought he was just getting us in there to round us up. But he said that they were so bad at their job that he said, I might as well hire these guys. And I said, I'll take the job. And he hired me. And my first job was watching his two daughters. His two daughters, Phil and I. So I made it to go to work, and I'm working for Jam now. I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. So he says, you're going to watch these two little girls. Your life depends on it. Whatever you say, Charlie. And so that's what I had to do. And so, I wanted to go see, Phil and Lizzie, what the hell, And all of a sudden, in walks Phil and I. And he has the hots for Jolly's wife at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's like hanging around, Now that I know how the routine is, he's hanging around production, just trying to get her attention. And after a while, I go, wow. And his accent was so thick, I could barely understand it. And he's like, here's this tall guy who's, doesn't sound like he's from Chicago. He didn't say, hey, what's up? What's going on? It was like broken Cockney English.
Yeah, I think from Dublin, right?
Yeah. And he had a pint of Richards in a bag, Richards Wild Hours Rose, because I could smell it, And I was like, hey man, I like you guys. I said, it's about time you guys didn't get into a fight and had to cancel your tour for the third time, because they had canceled their tour twice. So I said, you guys finally made it to America. I said, can I have your autograph? And so he's like, yeah. And then he, and it was kind of, he's kind of cool. And I said, something, the guy that the lady you're trying to talk to, these are her daughters. And my boss is their husband.
Oh.
Yeah. The guy with the French, I don't think he wanted to go and talk to her.
No.
And he realized, he goes, oh, thanks, Mike. Thanks for filling me in, And, which I didn't understand. He was saying thanks. And he was pretty mean. And I realized that from after a while, I had to I was stationed to go somewhere else, and I saw the show, and it was incredible. It was incredible.
The boys are back in town.
Yeah, the boys are back in town. He was incredible. The live show, that was the first time I saw a bass with a mirror pick guard. And the spot
5-string as well. He's a 5-string bass.
No, it was a 4-string.
Okay.
And a
weird 4-string bass.
And he would run down this ramp, run down the runway, slide and play and sing, playing. And the spotlight would hit the pick guard, and it would just shine all over the place, the whole arena.
And that left an impression.
Yeah, that left an impression. That was it.
Were you a player as yet, or is that what inspired you?
That inspired me. It was scenes like that, because working for Jam, it became a family. Jam became like a family, and I lucked out and got into the fold, and I could talk to people instead of get out of here, what the hell are you doing, blah blah blah. And imagine like a black kid telling like a group of people, big guys that don't hang it, get out, don't smoke your joints, or giving some kind of authority. I would always let's let the ladies, or let's let some of the people see see the show better. And after a while, they wouldn't recognize me, and they were, and so I never had any kind of altercation. Very few fights I had, but I know how to talk to people.
Yeah, that's always important.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely. And so it inspired me to, all my friends played instruments. Like I would see Louis Spitek playing at amongst, some friends of mine in the band. And I see Louis and I go, he's as good as those guys in the bands I see in the concert. He's phenomenal, So
What year was that? This would be like, was the Chicago scenes, I gather you were witness to the whole, or a part of the whole creation of what we know as the Chicago American industrial scene, and the whole energy
like
behind
it was like 77, 1970.
So that's a little pre, yeah.
And every weekend I would go to Aragon or the Uptown Theater or the Riviera. The Riviera, the first time I saw a concert at Riviera was and I asked for the day off, was the Peter Gabriel solo.
Oh, nice. Oh, that was the best.
With Tony Levin.
With Tony Levin. Was that the tour that he was doing, Shock the Monkey?
Yeah.
Where he had the face paint?
Yeah. And he had all of them cut their hair. They all were bald.
Yeah.
And they had spotlights. The whole arena was pitch black.
So good.
And here the Riviera was a movie theater. It was a movie theater that was going down and out. And they decided to have a concert there. And so I said, I want to go see Peter Gabriel, because Genesis had split up, basically. Yeah. And I wanted to know who was taking. That's when I realized when Lamb Lions down on Broadway was pretty much Phil Collins.
For sure.
And I said, wow, who's going to take, well, let me see Peter Gabriel. He's solo. So I went and saw the show, and it was phenomenal. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. And then the second show, I saw Supertramp there.
The old school. Here we go.
I saw Supertramp, and oh my God, that was like,
you guys were huge at one point.
Yeah. Oh man, oh my God, that show was phenomenal.
Yeah, they were.
So I got a chance to see it, and then another thing, I saw here. I realized, here I am, this young black kid, and I'm in. I'm seeing these shows, and I get to meet, I go and make it before sound check, and check, keep my, my excitement down. And one time I had to go into work early. Jolly says, I'm stationed, you're stationed here on this bus, this tour bus. We can't close the bus. And it was, Aragon is in Uptown, Chicago. And that's a pretty tough neighborhood,
Yeah.
Really raunchy. And he says, your job is to watch this bus. You sit on this bus because we can't get the locksmith to lock the bus.
Oh, wow.
So tour bus drivers got to go at a hotel, and you are going to watch this bus. Anyone comes on this bus, you clock them.
That sounds like Jolly. You can just hear him. You clock them.
Or you get, your ass. So I go, okay. And you don't have enough to pay for anything having this bus. So I said, okay. So sure enough, I had to watch the bus, and I couldn't see the main act who was playing it, which at the time I didn't know who was playing. So when I got there and I watched the bus and the band, I didn't know who the band was. Come to find out it was Motorhead.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and I got to meet Lemmy. Yeah. And
you were sitting on Lemmy's bus.
Yeah, I was sitting on Lemmy's bus. And I go, wow, and I asked him about Hawkwind. And he was shocked. He goes, you know about that, eh, Mike? Yeah, I like it. I like him. Yeah, he was totally cool to me. He had an accent. He had the dirty English, the Cockney kind of tone. So it took me a while to take that in. So
Classic experience. I guess again, like, you're with Jolly and you're, well protected under that setting. And you're meeting all these legends, Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
And,
I can go I can go down the line of just how many people I met. And I mean, like, oh my God.
It's kind of amazing first though, that, you're working within the scene and you're working with artists here, but obviously you've got like some musical roots, Bruin, being the fact that your dad's cousin was Sam Cooke.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You had to have had some musical stuff going on growing up in your house.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, my dad told me this. He goes, so when I started playing at 25, and he goes, so what's this? I hear you playing the guitar now. And I was like, well, yeah, I heard you getting pretty good at it. And I go, well, yeah, I guess so. He goes, well, can you sing like Sam? Because if you can't sing like Sam, you better keep that damn day job.
The king of soul, man. You should pass it down the family.
Yeah, I know. So I said, no, I can't sing like Sam. He goes, yeah, well, you still keep that job. Do that,
You didn't know that you had the fingers.
Yeah. Well, he finally saw me play. My dad finally saw me playing, and he goes, "Oh, Lord have mercy! Let me buy a drink for the band." And I was like, "Oh,
really?"
I act like I am having a heart attack, and he goes, "Watch it, watch it."
So, what made you pick up the instruments and then say, I have to be in a band too"?
Well, it's because I would see Louis and some of the guys in the neighborhood playing, playing the acoustic or in the park, and I would go like, if someone's playing a song, I go like, you're not playing that song right, man, come on, just get it, and I knew what I was talking about. I said, man, what are you doing? Are you playing the song? That's not the song. That's not how it goes. But Louis would always play, and he would just blaze. But when he wasn't around, the other guys would just be, going through the motions, And some guys, there were some guys that played drums that were really good. And after a while, what happened was a lot of guitar players were around, and I was into Michael Schenker. I love the UFO. I love Michael Schenker, and when I got to see him play, and it's just like, oh my God, I could play Schenker. I could play his solos note for note. Then when I first started playing, my son would be sleeping, and I practiced solos and guitar. But everyone played guitar.
So you started off as a guitar player then?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never knew that.
Yeah, I started as a guitar player. Everybody played guitar. Every fucking body. There were times where I would go and there'd be like a jam session, and there would be some guys there, and they go like, hey, let me see your guitar for a second. I go, yeah, check it out. I was green. And I wouldn't get my guitar back, and all my beer would get drank, and my pot would be smoked, and my guitar wasn't played. So finally, my older stepbrother said to me, he goes, how many bass players were there? And I said, well, that was
the wise.
Well, yeah, one or two. So his best friend said, listen, his best friend played bass. He said, here, he gave me a Fender Precision and a upright that didn't have a case. So I had to carry, it was an old beat up upright. So he said, here, you take these, you play bass. And, yeah, but when he said, how many bass players were there? And I said, there was only one or two,
Right.
I started playing bass. And the upright, I didn't have a case for it, but I would play it. But after a while, when I finally got a case for it and got it to get it fix it up, my dog, who was glad to see me come when I went home, and he knocked it over and it cracked and it was done, you know.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. So all that, I spent all that money and everything to fix it up, and it just fell cracked, you know, just because he was a happy dog, you know. And so that was it for the upright, you know. But that's how I started playing bass, you know. And
but integrating into the Chicago scene, what were you seeing? Were you seeing it like coming into fruition, or how did you get into connected with the whole Al Jorgensen sort of Thrill Kill?
Yeah, well, what happened was Al. I was playing in the band, and we were making some noise, and we wanted to get we wanted to get our sound. I was in a band called Fallen Pieces, and we wanted to take it to the next level, you know. You know, we call it Bat Cave Funk, you know. We wanted to get a different kind of feeling with what we were doing. And so I was at a bar at Smart Bar.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. And I see Al, he'll come in once in a while. And people would talk about Al, like, yeah, he's blah, 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 he's blah, blah, blah. He tries to sound like he's English or whatever. And, you know, he was just a regular guy when I saw him. And what happened was there's Falling Pieces. He would we were like that, you know. We would play, and no one would and
1989 though.
Yeah. He would we would see. I'm just like glad to see us. Yeah, we would ask. We wanted him to produce us. So I go, well, you know, I don't know. I see him in the bar, Smart Bar. Maybe he will. You know, I don't know. He's cool. So it was some people that were like, oh, there's go Al Jorgensen. And they were talking shit. And this one guy was talking shit. And then when he got next to Al, he was like, hey, man, how are you doing? I'm a big fan of you. And I looked at the guy and he was talking so much shit. I looked at the guy and like they kind of shrugged me. They shrugged me and I go, you know something? I said to Al, I go, that guy was talking shit about you, man. And I'll tell you right in front of your face. And I said to the guy, you're full of shit. You were just talking shit about him. And Al says, don't pay attention to it. I get it all the fucking time. I go, yeah. Well, meanwhile, tell this fucking guy to get out of my face because I can't stand him. He's so two-faced. So that's how I met Al. You know, I was nice. The guys were talking so much shit. I was like, I can't believe it. And all of a sudden he's kissing ass. So I stood up.
With that in those days, though.
Yeah.
Al used to get a lot of trouble, it seemed, consistently in the Chicago scene.
Yeah, it was because, you know, people, you know, he never tried to sound like he was from British or English.
Right.
He just had, you know, he just had a song and it was cool. And I wanted to tell you like them, I see guys and he's just like, and then they playing the songs in the bar and people are dancing. I said, wow, he's pretty cool, you know. So he was cool with me, you know. I don't talk to him much, hardly at all, but I know that he was all right with me, you know. Whatever, you know, I think we did tour with them once and it wasn't the same. It was just too much as a machine. So I didn't get to talk to him that much or reminisce, you know. like, because he's all, someone's always there, someone's always talking.
Right.
But I remember Al, and I remember the first Revolting Cock show, when Chris Conley came from the airport. He came to Chicago. And I was wearing a Fallen Pieces jacket then. And he was running around on stage, the first Cox show. And and he was like, yeah, we're gonna do the Revolting Cocks. And there was extra stuff that was in the studio. I was in Track studio all the time. I was in Tracks when he was doing Twitch.
That was the home base.
Yeah, that was. And I grew up around the corner from there.
Really?
I lived on the Elaine Place in Roscoe. And, just up the street to the Halsted in Roscoe, that's where Tracks was at. And I grew up in the neighborhood, So I was there, and I would see Al, Al would be there. And, he would do his thing. And I remember he said, I'm sick of these goddamn fucking machines. I'm gonna play guitar. He had a Les Paul. And he says, I'm playing this thing. So he's walking around the studio with the Les Paul, black Les Paul collectors. And from that point on, Land of Rape and Honey, it was just full throttle from that point on. The Cox was just, a spinoff from there were extra songs like Lard. We came from that Ten Commandments of Reed. Reed rest his soul. I've been in touch with Reed Himes, and he was, Al was cool about that then, and he, Luke Van Acker,
All the originals.
Yeah, I got to meet him. Yeah. And the first time I heard Triggers on drums.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I saw a drum kit set up in the live room. And I said, man, what did, and Jamie Duffy had put the drum kit together. And I'm like going, why don't somebody just buy a drum kit, man? Isn't there anything going on around here? It was just a drum kit pieced together. None of them matched. And this guy hit the drums to tech guy, and it sounded like explosion.
Triggering the S1000 or something.
Oh yeah, and I was like, oh my god, this is incredible.
So that it's cool that you were being inspired and integrated into this scene, but what is it that actually got you into, say, the next level when you started playing with Thrill Kill Kult?
Well, Groovy, Frankie. Well, eventually Al never did produce we never did any production with him. The band was in pieces. And our singer was a drummer. So he knew how to program the drums. So what happened was in Chicago, sometimes you do only things you have to do with Wax Tracks. All you had to do was they weren't signing anybody from Chicago. They weren't signing anybody, and Al pretty much had that in the mix. But Jim and Dan, rest their soul, they were good people, but they didn't have a good Chicago fan base with Chicago artists.
Yeah,
they were good bands, but you weren't going to get signed by Wax Tracks because whoever worked at Wax Tracks didn't get along with Chicago bands. And with Thrill Kill, Frankie and Buzz Marston were together, and Frankie was everything Al picked up pretty much was mostly Al learned from Frankie.
So they say.
yeah, he did. He learned from Frankie, and Frankie didn't have a vehicle to front a band. the only band he fronted was Special Effects. And Special Effects broke up. Harry Bresnikov and the drummer, they went, I guess they signed, that's before Ministry. Special Effects got signed and they toured. But they split up when they were on tour. From what I gather, I don't know exactly. They split up and Frankie went to England. Harry, the drummer, moved to LA, who he eventually wound up playing with Concrete Blonde. And Al started Ministry. And that's how that all happened. And how it happened, Marston came to Chicago and got Frankie out of the backdrop and got him, him and Frankie got some songs together and they started Thrill Kill. And I was still with Fallen Pieces. And Frankie, who's my good friend, he was always felt he should have been should have gotten what was due,
Hmm.
He was like my big sister. My big, he's quite a character. And he was with Thrill Kill, he was finally had an outlet, and Thrill Kill was happening. And they let me, eventually I got to play bass because Marston's the bass player, but Marston couldn't play bass and do whatever else. He wanted to make it a band and, Thrill Kill and everything. So I was like, well, yeah, I'll take the helm, and it went on from there. It was like it's like I got a chance to travel. My first tour was with Sasha, KMFDM. He was the one that bidded me off to go on tour, and we went and did the Croak soundtrack and everything. And in the Crow soundtrack, I got to meet
Brandon Lee.
And Frankie was really, he was at the helm. He's a front guy. Groovy Man was elevated, and I had, that was an experience getting to meet Brandon Lee, And,
Yeah, I can only imagine. And with all the controversy surrounding what happened, and you guys were in it, I can imagine that you must have felt even more affected by what happened.
Oh yeah. It was like Jackie Black said to me, she goes, you know something? We're finally in a damn movie. The damn star dies, And he was so cool. I mean, I remember when I got off the plane and we went to makeup trailer. And that's where I met Brandon Lee. I was smoking a joint, waiting to see if they like, what did they think of the closed eyebrows? This guy, I heard, no one's, I'm in line, so no one's in back, I'm standing out there, I go, let me light this joint. No one's around. And as I smoke it, someone in back of me said, that's a strong breeze downwind here. And I turned around and it was Brandon Lee. And I was like, oh wow. I go, I touched him. I go, oh no, my finger's broke. And he's like, I was just kidding. I said, no, my hand's not broken. I just touched your dad's Bruce Lee. I said, wow, man.
That is just crazy. I know.
Yeah,
the thing is that he was really into different type of music too, which was really admirable.
Yeah. We hung out, and a lot of the cast members, a lot of the people that came to shoot the extras, they hung around in Winnebagos and stuff. They would come to the set, of the film set, and I got to be friends with some of the fans, and they didn't serve liquor in the bars, but the only way you can drink is if you went to eat something, and you get appetizers, and you can order drinks then. So we would get drunk at a Bennigan's or something like that. And some fans asked me, they go, there's a Black Sabbath cover band that are really good. So Brandon went with me, and we went and saw this cover band that was like Black Sabbath cover band.
No way.
Yeah. And they were great. Yeah, they were great. They were like, oh my God, they put on a hell of a show. They had they had like the strobe lights and the laser lights, and they put on a good show. And that was the only time he could really get away and hang out, because his fiance was coming in. So we hung out, during the time.
So many vibrant experiences. Matter of fact, I think I saw you guys when you played at Prince's Club in LA.
Yeah.
And there was all sorts of people there that night.
Yeah.
I smoked a joint with the guys from Coil, as a matter of fact. How cool.
Yeah. It was a lot of people there.
I think Marilyn Manson was there before he was even known about.
Yeah, right.
What year was that?
I'm gonna say, yeah.
Yeah,
What year was that?
trying to think.
93.
93, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I know Brian. Brian's a good man. He's a good person. I got to know him,
You know who I'm most jealous about is when you guys got to play with Susie and the Banshees.
Oh, wow.
I mean, come on, you got to hang out with Susie and get to know Susie?
Yeah, oh my God. The first, the very first time we met up with Susie, we went to go have dinner.
Oh,
and,
wow.
and I had just drinks. We had drinks, and I sat next to her, and we had the same drink. We drank Myers rum and Coke with 2 limes. And I was so we went to toast, and my drink fell down her boot. And I was like scared. I was nervous. And I wasted my whole drink down her leg. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought she was going to slap the shit out of me. And she was, it was so embarrassing. Kevin, I couldn't even, I wanted to run. And we cleaned up and everything. And then, that was phenomenal. That was a good tour.
Just the first thing you do is you spill something on Susie.
Yeah, I spilled a drink on her. Oh my God. And back then she used to do sound check. And if there was any squeaking of the monitor, if the monitor guy got feedback on her mic, she would throw the mic across the stage at the sound guy, at the monitor. So she was going through monitor guys, left and right. And so that was terrible. It was like I had a hell of a great time. Came very close. It was my birthday in New York, and I think you told this story. It was my birthday, and she had gotten me a bottle of wine, and she goes, "Happy birthday, Charles. Me and Butchie giving you a happy birthday to you. Here's a bottle of wine." I go, "Oh wow, thanks for the wine, but I don't drink wine." So Jackie Black goes, "I drink wine. Give me that motherfucker." And so she cracks the bottle, and Susie's like, "Yeah, that goes a $300 bottle of wine, And I was like, "Oh well, I'm so embarrassed. I'm sorry." But so what happened is Budgie asked me, he goes, "How do you handle sessions?" Because I do sessions and stuff. And he asked me, he goes, how do you do sessions? I don't read or anything. And drums, what am I read? Drum tracks or something? Read drum writings? I go, well, I don't read either. But I do sessions. He asked me because he knew I do sessions. So I said, all you have to do, he had to do a recording session with the Indigo Girls in Woodstock. And I said, all you got to do, Budgie, is just go make sure your setup is comfortable to you on drums. And then you just go and fill it out. Listen to what they have already and put your input in. That's how I do a session. You know, people ask me to play bass for them. I listen to what they're doing and I just give it my shot. So I said, just do it that way, but you got to do me a favor. I want to know if Susie would be my date, my escort, on my birthday. Because we have one show here in New York and you guys aren't playing. And so she can come, can she give my escort me on after parties after the show? And he goes, she'll do it. She'll do it. So it was at the Marquee Club in New York.
Wow.
And we had a good show. And I could see her on the balcony coming, looking like the lady from the Avengers. What was her name?
Emma Peel?
Yeah. She looked like Peel. She looked like her. She came to the show and I was like, oh, wow, this is great, And she goes, the promoter goes, yeah, those are good show, guys. And here's your birthday present, Charles, some goth girl. In my high school, I go, gee. So Susie goes, I'm his date. She can come with us, but he's with me.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And then she goes, oh yeah, and I want to introduce you to my friend. I go, hi. She goes, his name is Martin. So I go, yeah. So I meet the guy, and it's Martin Scorsese. And he goes, just call me Marty. Just call me Marty. I was like, oh my God.
It's rolling in the most bizarre high places.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh my God. Martin Scorsese. Marty. So all night long, I'm like, Marty.
What a birthday. Susie's your date and you're chilling with Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. It was a little
only on tour, right?
Yeah. And then the thing about it was there was some fans that came with me. And there was one guy, like we couldn't get any rides. You know how New York is. Getting a ride or someone to take us around. We didn't need a limo. There was a black kid with a 98, an Oldsmobile 98 or 88. And he said, he says, you take care of the parking and stuff. He says, I can drive us around wherever we want to go. I said, well, hell yeah, there we go. This is it. It's not a limo stretch, but it's a big car. And it fit the situation well. So we went to the Pyramid Club and they made Save the Robots and stuff like that.
I remember that place.
Yeah, remember that place? Yeah.
Yeah, that's old school.
Yeah, we went there. We had a night of it, It was a night I'll never forget, that was the best. Oh my God. That's when I knew. I said, this is a long way. I've come a long way, from a Chicago street kid, to here I am right there. I can even go far back as I remember the first time when we toured Thrill Kill, we couldn't play. It got to a point. It was a shock for me because most of the time we play, we had to stop the show because the stage would get bombarded.
Yeah.
You come up on the stage and lose it. And like I was like John Entwistle, standing back, making sure nobody's messing with my bass or anything. And I never forget when we played at the Riviera, Jolly, when we got out the bus and I had load in and Charlie came, and he goes, "Yeah, they're here. These losers are here. What are you guys doing?" And he said to me, "Yeah, the band is here. No one's there. No one's really a musician, but Charles, you know." So it was a warm welcome, Jolly. It was just all the guys I worked with and everything were just really really welcoming.
Yeah.
It was the homecoming.
It's bizarre in those days, like the type of people that you could meet at any of these given shows. I think, Timothy Leary would
Timothy Leary. Oh
yeah.
yeah, meeting Timothy Leary, meeting him.
Burroughs.
Yeah, Burroughs. Oh, I met Burroughs when he did Just One Fix with Al.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Legendary experiences that all come about as a result of just hanging out around Jolly.
I always thought Burroughs was I always thought Burroughs was English, but he's an American. That's so crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely American.
Oh yeah. He said to me, he goes, "Hey Charlie," he called me Charlie. "Give me a light."
Hey Charlie.
Yeah, "Hey Charlie, give me a light." And I asked him, I go like, after a while, I go, "What's the big thing with you?" Everyone's like, want to know what you're doing. How do you handle, what you do?
Yeah.
My mom was a person that of similar traits. That was her downfall. And he says, always have a method to your madness. If you don't have a method, he says, not to sound like a cliche, because everyone would go up and talk to him or whatever. And I would say, I said, "Listen, Bill." He says, "Just call me Bill." And I say, "Bill, how do you how do you handle, what you do?" He goes, "Yeah, I have my ways." I didn't know, at the time, I didn't know the movie. It was a movie with Matt Damon, where he was basically Burroughs, playing William Burroughs when he was sticking up drugstores and stuff. What was the name of that movie?
Oh man.
Anybody know? You put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone in the chat know?
Burroughs and Damon? Wow. Sounds like a cult film to me.
Yeah.
I think not Basketball Diaries, was it?
No, it was like
DiCaprio.
He was like,
Somebody said drugstore cowboy.
Drugstore cowboy.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, with not Matt Damon, it's the other Matt. The man from The Outsider. Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon, yeah.
Dillon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I said, he said, "You gotta have a method to your madness, kid." That's what he said to me. Just
was Leary with him as well at that time, or you met them separately?
No, I met them separately, but then eventually I met them together at a ministry concert. We were doing a corporate concert for Sacred Genesis, Thrill Kill. And it was they did this big event, and we were staying at the Hollywood Bowl, Hollywood Hilton. And at the same time, Ministry was playing. So
nice show.
Yeah, I know. So we flew out. We got to the hotel. All the bomb gun girls were crazy, and we rehearsed for for this corporate gig, and made it in time to go to Ministry. And backstage, I got a chance to meet Timothy Leary. Timothy Leary was in the wheelchair by this time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I had met him. He was a fan. I met him from a fan before at in LA, and before the wheelchair.
Yeah,
and he was in good shape, and he was at the Hollywood Bowl where Ministry played. We couldn't find any. No one had cigarettes.
What a dilemma!
Housekeeper, the what do you call them? Do you call them like the runners, or whatever? the hospitality people disappeared. There were people, and then Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top was there in the dressing room. So I'm like, wow, this is incredible.
All sorts of people, huh?
Yeah, and
so awesome.
The bass player from Fate No More was there with his girlfriend. So me and him are like talking. He's like, you play bass, I play bass, and blah, blah, blah. And what happened was, what happened was Billy Gibbons wanted a cigarette. And no one had a cigarette. So Burroughs wanted a cigarette. And he said, Charlie, come here for a second. So he calls me over. He goes, come here, man. You got any papers? And I go, yeah, I got some papers. So he goes, come with me, come over here by this ashtray. We went by an ashtray. Those the big ashtrays. And he took the butts and he dumped the tobacco out of the cigarette butts. And I rolled them up. He says, this is good enough for me. And so we rolled up cigarettes. I rolled up the cigarettes from the cigarette butts. And that's how we did it. And he was like, okay, I'm good. We never did see hospitality, but those cigarette butts in that ashtray, they were just as good as your regular cigarette. You know,
I've been there.
When I did, I did smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, same.
And
we've been there in those days, right?
Yeah.
Where you would raid an ashtray.
Yeah, raid ashtray.
In my roommate's room.
Yeah, raid ashtray. And what happened was,
who's that? Who are you with here?
That's Keith Fluffy. And that's all of us on the bus.
Look, you're smoking.
Smoking a cigarette. And a cigarette then. And that's Keith Auerbach, Fluffy.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
That's when I first met you, was when I went to Vancouver. When we went on tour, we played the Sexplosion, and we went to Vancouver. Fluffy.
What venue was that at?
I don't know. It was, I don't know. All I know is I went to you guys' apartment, Ogres or you apartment.
Oh, weird.
And he was Fluffy was like a bummer, because Fluffy was like, he was like the kind of guy that was like, you a Fluffy.
Yeah.
He got intimidated really easy.
So he was like one of the in-house engineers from Track Studios, right?
Yeah.
So he was in on a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I had my job was to protect him, because his last name is Fluffy. And so when we go to a venue, and it'll be like, you know how you got to break the ice with the house crew. So
yeah.
My whole thing was, because I work for Jam, I go in the crew and I go, okay guys, we're Thrill Kill, and I know you guys think we're a bunch of pansies, but our sound guy name is Fluffy, and I know you guys probably you've been up all night. For those who've been up all night, here's some coffee. Don't go in the dressing room and grate our sandwiches. Here, I got some coffee for you guys. And make sure you guys get coffee. Make sure you guys got everything you needed to make it through the day, you know. And keep the crew. And then I say, Fluffy is our sound man. He's good. His name is Fluffy because his hair. So he's not a knockoff. He's our sound guy.
It's so classic.
Yeah, help him out as much as you can. You know, let's get this all together. We're all in here. We're all on it. We all here to do this event, and let's have fun. You know, and that's how you have to break the ice with guys, because you get some places. I noticed that British bands that would tour from working with Jam, guys from a lot of guys that were touring American bands, their crew would have some kind of animosity sometimes. Whereas English crew, it was like a family, you know.
Wow, good observation.
Yeah, you protect them, you know.
Yeah.
And so therefore, when I would get off the bus, I would make sure I would get there So that would be, you get there, sometimes the promoters wouldn't have the loaders there. They wouldn't have coffee. They wouldn't have certain things. And whatever it take to get, the ball rolling, that's what I would do. And therefore,
That must come from Jolly, I think. The train.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And another thing is, if they ask me, they go, "Oh, so you're from Chicago?" And this is a real kicker. They would go, "So you're Chicago, huh?" Yeah. Do you know a guy named Jolly? And I go, "Oh, hell yeah, I know Jolly." And it was a different story then. We get respect. They would go, "Oh, you know Jolly Roger?" I go, "Yes, he's like my big brother." And they treat us like give us the carte blanche, So,
yeah, he's kind of like got a golden. If you just bring his name up now, it's like everybody that knows who Jolly is basically been moved.
Everyone that knows Jolly has a Jolly story. You've got at least two.
Yeah, you got it. I tell you one thing: it's best to have a Jolly story and be jolly about it than to get Jolly a story about Jolly not being jolly.
Jolly has always, fought for the crew and the rights of everybody, and here he is here speaking out for the union, always about the people. And it's good to point out that I think Jolly is 6'7".
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he's a giant.
Yeah, Tammy Downs from Faster Pussycat.
I love that look on his face. That look on his face says it all.
Perpetual look. I don't think that's Jolly. No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That look right there.
Yeah, the classic Jolly Roger. Big up to Jolly Roger and his whole inspiration here that we're speaking about today. I'm sure that Martin and any of us commonly here would cite Jolly as a major inspiration.
Yeah, he is.
Weren't we in the studio and he randomly showed up on the news?
What was that?
That little press thing? I think we were in the studio one day and Jolly just randomly showed up on the news thing, like on the TV monitor in the studio.
Yeah.
And we're like, holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Well, I think
that must have been 2000.
With the union thing that we're talking about.
Yeah, my one of the Thrill Kill crew guys, production guys, was a strong advocate for that union to happen. He had a big part in getting Jolly and everyone.
Jolly classic. Also, Joe Shanahan. I know you wanted to thank Joe.
Oh, Joe Shanahan, and the guy that's next to him, Gene Ambo, is a class world photographer. Gene Ambo.
I mean, Jolly and Joe, as you were saying, the thing about the family, there was no shortage of family feeling from these guys.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't. No, like I said, that guy that's in the picture with Joe Shanahan, just to talk about. I used to go to the Metro. Before it was called the Metro.
Oh, wow.
Cabaret Metro. It was called the North Side Auditorium.
Oh, bizarre. And
I used to go there for Boy Scout meetings when I was a kid. Wow. And little did I know that same bar is what Smart Bar.
I know how much a role it will play in your life.
Yeah, that's why I'm Boy Scout meetings,
I mean, what's so cool is that, you've really cemented yourself into so many different bands from Chicago that we could name. I mean, it's a list long of Pigface, Project 44, Conformco, Hellbent, Black from the Dead, D Warsaw, Sister Machine Gun, Halo, KMFDM, Sheep on Drugs, and your urban soundtrack. I mean, it's incredibly prolific, and I'm sure that there's more that we didn't even mention. You're like, I don't know. I loved the Pigface reunion before COVID was so pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I was those were times. That was a time. Well, 2-3 years in a row, I would play. It was my birthday.
Yeah.
and those were concerts that were very good, very.
Now,
And
it's so sad that it had to be like everything kind of had to be shut down for in the middle of that was like the role of your impetus. It was almost seemed like you guys were back, and it was like, oh, what's going to happen now?
Yeah, it was. But now I think that was a good cast right there. That was at the Limelight in Chicago, down in New York. And I tell you, since I think I got a second chance in life, I really have. It's really hard.
What is your thoughts after going through such an experience when you look back at all of this wonderful stuff that's happened? I mean, is there a pinnacle highlight for you that like when you were coming to again, did you say was there some experience that stood out for you?
Yeah, it is. It was what stood out for me was that Martin was there. All the people that played with, all the fans, the tons of fans who came through. I owe it. It makes me keep going,
Everyone loves you, man.
I try,
And you've cemented your name as like, as I say, Chicago rock royalty.
Yeah, I try. I just try to deliver the goods. That's what I try to do. All I know is that I'm really glad. It's a big thing. And something. Out of all the people that I've have a list of people who I really, really, really feel good about.
Mention some names.
Yeah. Dan.
You want me to say it?
Yeah. Can you?
Okay. Well, Wolf Dodge.
Yeah, Wolf Dodge.
Martin Atkins. Me. Thank you.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Ray. Happening Harry and the Haptones.
Yeah.
Robbie Krieger. Is that the Doors? Robbie Krieger.
Yeah. He was at my benefit concert in LA.
What a classic guy.
Yeah, I love that he played that. That's amazing.
Joe Shanahan, of course, we just mentioned. Steve Ara.
Yeah.
Phil Owen and Hillary Torrey.
Yes. Yeah.
Louis J. How do I say his last name? Svitek Jr.?
Yeah. Louis Svitek.
Svitek.
Yeah. It's Polish. Svitek.
Catherine Lee.
Yeah.
Don Moffat.
Yeah.
Chicago Steve Mikulski.
Yeah.
Joe Lavridge. Mark Bauer. Simon Paul.
Yeah.
Jesse and Joyce Hunt.
Yeah.
Scott Stagina. Kenny James. Katie, and for all of your fans for the love and support that you've given. I think that, Charles, you want to name people by name. That's just that's so sweet. And I think that those people will really appreciate the fact that you're thinking about them. And
there's many
special for people to know that like I always think that when you're a musician, the best thing to do is always be so grateful for the opportunity that we got, to do all this stuff and all the people that helped along the way. And I just think that it's always important. And I always think as well, it's important to also, please folks, I'm going to refresh this. Oh, look, it did go up. Oh, great, folks. Thank you. Awesome. Gernot Gerbil, I see that you've got Matthew Gerbil and Gernot Gerbil. I know these guys are from the chat right here. Thank you very much. And all you other guys that have donated here to Charles GoFundMe. The link is available on this chat in the description. Charles, it's amazing to see that you're getting the help you need here to continue on and stuff like that. I don't want to I don't want to leave the fact that you also like talk to me a bit about how funny it is when we're on the road or something, we meet people and you meet these like crazily big people. You met Barbara Streisand.
Yeah, met Barbara Streisand. We were doing 13 Above the Night.
Not that Barbara Streisand, this one.
that one
that
there.
one.
But no, it's the other one.
Do you remember A Star Is Born?
Yeah,
how she was the original.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga, Star Is Born, and then now she's like just like this household name.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. She's better. She looks much better in real life.
Oh wow, that's always good.
It was like I saw her, and she says hi, and I go, hi, how you doing? I go, your eyes are so blue. I said, and I was getting me a sandwich, and one of her staffers are like, what are you doing here, buddy? I go, listen, man, I'm getting something to eat, dude. Chill out. Cigar chopping dude. And she was totally cool. She was so sweet, She had her little Winnebago,
These little meetings. Is it true you also met Kim Basinger?
Yeah, Kim. Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
the Cool World soundtrack.
Yeah, the Cool World. Let me tell you, Kim Basinger cannot dance. She cannot dance. The girl you see dancing in Cool World,
Industry secret.
It's Ralph Baskey's girlfriend.
Oh, funny.
Wow.
Ralph Baskey's girlfriend said, if I'm going to dance in this movie, I got to have Thrill Kill. I danced the Thrill Kill Kult. So she liked our music. So she was dancing. She'd be dancing to our songs. And Ralph Baskey, I say, hey, Ralphie, this movie is all right, Sort of reminds me of Roger Rabbit. He says, whatever. I had to fix this movie because it's a deadline. So they paid me to fix it. And I said, it's almost like, Fritz That's It, Fritz the Cat, all those movies. Man, I go, it's kind of cool. I got to meet him, And Kim Basinger, I asked her, we were all going to have dinner. And Buzz and them made me go and ask her, would she come out and have dinner with us for the, for the shoot. So I went and knocked on the door and I go, hey, Kim, it's me, Charles. And she says, come on in. And I'm saying, I'm getting ready to tear us up. No. She let me in. And she goes, I said, we're going to go all out and have dinner. I want to know would you come with us? Everyone's too scared to ask you. But I said, you should come with us. And she goes, oh, no, I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to give me a glass of wine. You want some wine? I'll take a look. I'm going to drink my wine, take my little pills. I'm just going to sit in this room in the Roosevelt. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The classic Roosevelt.
Yeah. And that night, she didn't come with us. But that same night, believe it or not, KMFDM played. We're playing at the Palace. And so after we had dinner, I got a rental car. I have a friend of mine's rental car. We drive to go they drive me to see KMFDM. Didn't nobody want to go see them, but I wanted to go see them. So they drove me to the Palace. And I got there just in time. They were doing the video that you see me in the picture, the Wax Types picture. They were doing 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Go, man, go. So I got to play on stage with them, guitar, and Ash and everything. And that was one special night.
Wow.
Yeah, and then at the end of the night, believe it or not, end of the night, it was a huge party on Highland Street for some event. But I went to it, and it was a friend of ours it was a friend of, it was a band called Blitzspear. And they were out in New York and they were fans of us. They said, come to this party. We're playing it. It's a private party. So I went. And so Kitty Kildare introduced me to these 4 guys. She says, hold on. I'm going to go get us drinks. She's drunk already. So stand by these guys. They're cool. So she goes. And so Ice-T walks in. So the whole place goes, wow, Ice, Ice, Ice. And I was like, oh, man, he's cool, but damn. You know, and then this little short guy goes, man, motherfuck Ice-T. I go, whoa, the shortest guy in the group of guys I'm standing there with. I go, what's wrong, man? What's up with you? Well, you got a problem with Ice-T? I mean, I'm the one that's got a problem because I saw him one night when I was in LA, and he was just, you know, I got him to say, you know, give me an autograph and say hi to me because I'm a pretty big guy. So he gave me, you know, I took him away from his homies, you know, his thugs, and put him on the phone with one of my crew guys, and who looked like Ice-T. So he's Irish, and so Ice-T was like, yeah, you know, I took him by surprise. Well, when this little short guy said, man, motherfuck Ice-T, you know, and I said, why are you mad at, what's your beef? And he goes, well, we were doing a song, and he came in while we were doing encore and just totally blew the vibe. Not really, we said blew the vibe. And I go, really? I go, what band are you? What band are you playing? And he goes, Alice in Chains.
Oh, wow.
So it was Lane Staley. So,
Lane. Big up Lane.
Yeah, that's how I met Lane. I met Lane from that, hanging out at that after hours private party. And he had just
nice.
Yeah, he had just cut all his hair off.
All right.
It was a short haircut and a beard. And so we hung out all night long. And we hung out all night long. So that's how I got to know Lane. And Lane was a good friend.
You know? You at that party that Jesus Lizard threw with Babes in Toyland, and Lane was there, and then all the Alice in Chains guys had bought like some $5,000 worth of fireworks. It was 4th of July, and they lined the whole alley out the back, and it looked like Beirut. It was like bombs going off.
I heard about it. Yeah. No, I wasn't there.
Man, he was so nice.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. I told him, you guys are man in the box. And he goes, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was cool. So we hung out the rest of the night. So my car was the car was stolen.
What a night.
The car that took me from Kim Basinger, from the Roosevelt to the palace, and then they came and took me to the party. And so when we were leaving out there, I get to meet Lane and everybody. We go back to, I said, listen, I'm driving the car. It was a convertible Mustang. So I go to the car was stolen.
What a classic.
Yeah, I know. The car was stolen. So we hitched a ride to the hotel from some guy who needed gas in his pickup truck. And I said, listen, if you give us a ride, if you give me and these guys a ride to the hotel, I give you the gas money. I give you gas money. And there was a guy, he was running guns, and he had been late, and he was in trouble. So I told him to calm down, come with us. They took us to a suite that we can go to by ourselves inside the hotel. And they parked his car, made sure nothing was taken or stolen. And I made that guy's day. You know, he broke down when we were hitching, and he saw the girls hitching too. He was like, you know, he said, what the hell, let me give it a shot. And he didn't know he was he had me and Lane and Jerry Cantrell and and the Bomb Gang girls all
Wow.
drove us to Old
Nobody
Rose.
tells that story today still.
I know. That poor kid was scared. He was scared shitless. And I talked to him. I go, "You're gonna be okay, man. You're gonna be okay. Here's some money. Here's some gas. Just make it where you gotta go.
Yeah.
We didn't have cell phones then. Well, they did, but they didn't. And so he was like kind of worried. So I made sure I got him some cell phone minutes and some money, and he made it all right.
Oh, good.
You know, it's nothing terrible. I never heard from him again. Yeah, that was
Charles, that you gravitate. I know it's a change of subject. Why did you gravitate to playing a 5-string bass as opposed to a 4?
Well, you know, I saw. I'm gonna tell you the honest to God truth. I saw a video of Erykah Badu, and her bass player had 5 string. And I saw how other guys played 5 strings and 6 strings.
Yeah.
And I saw how they played it, but they didn't play it like this guy. He wasn't so much of an architect for the number of strings. He played it with expression. And so I said, well, wow. So I started playing the 5-string, and it's easier to play. It's easier to play the 5-string than it is 4-string. It's actually kind of a lot more room. I was able to express.
Interesting.
Do you get an additional lower note?
Yeah, you get a B.
You get the bottom string is a D string.
No, the bottom string is a B.
Oh, a B. Wow.
Yeah, and it just sounds
normally. What's the bottom string on a bass normally?
E.
E. That's what I thought. Yeah. Oh, all the way down to a B. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's
So
nice.
so what it is like you get to play, but you get the feeling. You get a feeling. You get more of a feeling.
Yeah, that's what my dad played a couple of 5-string Ira basses.
Yeah. And so, you know, like say for instance, when someone plays keyboards, they're playing keyboards, and I'm playing bass, I get to be more expressive and still hold the bottom end down, and then without tripping over, you know, the lower registers. So I'll play, and so a lot of times, or just the driving bottom line is easier felt, you know.
What's your amp preference? Ampeg SVT?
I like Paul Barker's Crown sound. It's Crown sound.
Nice.
You know, but I like the SVT.
Yeah.
You know, I have a Mesa Boogie is what I use with Thrill Kill.
Oh, okay.
And then Pigface, I use Paul Raven's Ampeg.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Big up Paul Raven, man.
My good friend. So it's a tribute to play through Paul Raven's rig.
So that's his rig. What is the specifics of his amp?
He had an Ampeg.
Ampeg SVT.
Yeah, Ampeg SVT.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's graduated to, like, you know, what he done with Prague,
right,
others, but no, I like his we have a familiar feel. And so like if whenever someone plays something, like if I'm playing and there's a keyboard player and in like a Pigface setup and there's samples and everything, it cuts through. But the 5-string cuts through, and then I still get to play like I'm playing the bass, you know, and you know, hold it down.
Yeah. Recently, we lost Jeff Beck, and I know that you had met him too, haven't you?
Oh yeah. I was playing with Sister Machine Gun, and we were playing at Bar Sinister in LA and Hollywood, and we put on the show, and then actually came to the show, and he had got drunk. We had a really good show, and he got drunk because he finally had a good time. We had a good time. So he got drunk, and so I was leaving to go to the dressing room, And this guy walked up to me. He says, you really gave a good performance. You were entertaining, and he loved the show.
Wow.
And I
Did
go,
you know it was Jeff Beck?
yeah, I didn't know it was Jeff Beck. This guy says, you know Jeff Beck, man? That was Jeff Beck, dude.
Oh, wow.
You're the shit, Levi. And I'm like, what? So I went ran and caught up with him. And I said, hey, man, I'm a fan. And it was Jeff Beck. And he said, yeah, really, could you hear it? And, you know, I'm critiquing, like, did you really hear the show? And it was a good mix of the show. And he said he was entertained. He says he was really entertained by the show.
That's
he said,
incredible.
Yeah, he said it sounded good.
When you get a compliment from another musician who's you know as good as he is, like that's a true compliment.
Oh yeah. He was tanned. He was tanned, well tanned, and he had a hat on, and he was cool. And
I know you also wanted to mention that about Jen.
Oh, Jen. Oh man.
What a classic.
Oh man.
Wonderful human being.
Yeah. Jenny was incredible.
Yeah.
He never, you know, when he was with us, Pigface, he would sit up and I would, you know, to talk to him, I would ask him questions about, you know, different back in the day, you know, and he would tell me that, like Mark Bolan, he would tell me stories of Mark Bolan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His stories are incredible.
Yeah. He tell me there was a night spot in London where everyone would go, and he would tell me about Eric Burden.
Right. Yeah.
How Eric Burden got sick of being in England, and he wanted to go in California. You know, he just wanted to do something else, and that's how he got War. You know, and I always liked Eric Burden and stuff. I told Jen, I go, when I was a kid, this song, Rising Sun, House of the Rising Sun, reminded me was when my mom wouldn't come home late. She wouldn't come home for the night, and I'd be at home by myself with my sisters. And I hear that song, because at nighttime, soul stations would cut off, and it would be WLS. And WLS would play like the Monkees, the Animals, the Bee Gees, the Kinks, the Who. They play all the stuff, the classics. And so I would listen to them. And Eric Burden version of the House of the Rising Sun stands classic, you know. And I would ask them how were the guys how were they in real life? And he would tell me that they, you know,
it's amazing.
He would tell me, he said Mark Bolan he was primarily blues. Yeah, he's a blues guitar player, you know, and he always had the hottest soul sisters. He says, here's this little short guy with these really hot soul sisters. And I go like, wow, that must have been phenomenal, you know. Yeah.
I'll never forget. I got to see T-Rex when I was like 14 or something like that, because I was selling soft drinks at the venue where they played. So like not there, you know, I didn't buy a ticket. I was just there, and we were backstage because that's where our supply thing was. So I saw Mark Bolan come on stage, and he lay down on a star that was on its back, and the roadies would get underneath it. And then how he would enter the stage is they'd push the star up, and Mark would just go flying out onto the stage. It was low tech, but it really stuck in my head.
Yeah, he was really short. He was a short guy.
Yeah, he was small enough to be thrown through the air on that thing. Yeah. Short guys are really. I don't know. I always felt that, like, out of all the people that I meet, some people I just have to sit there and just like listen, because Genesis George was one of those people that it was like you just couldn't. I always felt kind of dumb. Kind of just listen.
I know. It's like I would talk to him, and he would tell me like, well, she or it would tell me about, you know, yeah, you know, yeah, it would tell me about different, you know, like Little Richard was pretty much babysitting for Paul McCartney and all of them. He was basically babysit, you know. He took them all on his wing. Billy Preston was really good.
Yeah,
He was, you know, he's a phenomenal guy.
absolutely. And an unspoken like contributor to some of the greatest music that was ever written by the Beatles.
Yeah. And then one time, Martin asked me to stay on the bus. Since I was staying on the bus in Seattle, we played a show in Seattle. And I was on the bus, and that's why I met Eddie Vedder on the bus. He asked, could he have a beer? And I said, yeah, man, make yourself at home, have a beer. You're not gonna have any problems getting a beer from this point on. So go ahead and have yourself a beer. And Martin asked me if I was gonna stay on the bus, because we would just stay, we would get a day room where everyone could go and shower instead of staying in the hotel. All getting rooms. So he said if I would stay, and he had a couple of a guy and a girl could stay on the bus if I would stay there with them. So I said, yeah, no problem. And I got to know these two people, this guy and this girl, this couple. And we talked, no one else is on the bus, it's just us three. We're hanging out. And I didn't know, when they asked me, we asked about each other after about a couple of hours. We asked about each other's, about each other. And I asked them, they asked me where I'm from. I said, from Chicago, blah, 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 and everything. And they said, well, I will tell you who we are. They told me it was Ringo Starr's son and daughter.
Wow.
And I was like, what? I go, you are? And they were like, yeah, we're just hanging out, in Seattle. I go, oh my God. Oh man. And I told them my dad's cousin, I said I'm like Sam Cooke's, a relative of Sam Cooke. They were like, oh, you Sam Cooke. They knew who he was. They were cool. We hung out.
Awesome. And it was also awesome is that Sam Cooke really stood up and campaigned for racial equality.
Yeah.
At a time when it was like really at the beginning with Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, it was a shame.
I got a big up to you guys as being like, stand up people that are always like looking beyond.
Yeah. I know. It's sad that the history of it, he was murdered,
Yeah.
He never solved it. But
is it going to be solved, do you think?
I don't think it, I don't think it will be.
It's a shame.
It's a shame. It's a
he was taken away young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was loved by all,
Yes.
And
James Dean, all these guys are like,
yeah.
You like, I don't know, man.
And in the music,
it's old.
And then in the music business itself, like I was telling Dre, it's like it's not really like in the industrial thing as we call it. I'm like one of the few black guys that are, really known for any part of it. I didn't get invited to the Wax Tracks thing, or there's no kind of support.
I didn't either.
yeah, you didn't either. Yeah, hello. Yeah, so that's cool.
I was on the label.
Yeah, exactly. And so
that was weird.
Yeah,
I just think that maybe they didn't do an effective job sending out invites.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and I'm from Chicago.
Wanted to, probably would have, but
Yeah,
that's funny that you mentioned that the Wax Tracks wasn't that supportive to sign Chicago bands? I wonder what was the big turn.
Well,
Why
it
they
was like,
decided to put out their records?
well, it was like, if you got a machine, you come from Europe, you got your deal. You know, basically, that was the thing. And the people, the staffers they had working for them weren't capable of getting that extra into it. You know, it's just, you know, for whatever was familiar with the crew or the staff of Wax Trax at the time, whatever
It was
they
a young
found.
period though.
Yeah.
So basically, we were all looking towards the UK at that point and to Europe for a
Yeah.
lot of the inspiration. And then it wasn't until actually was really weird is that, you know, I think we all together decided, you know, hey, we can do this ourselves. And then the roots of the whole Chicago scene, I think, are really quite pure, almost like the way the Beatles were inspired by American pop and other things, how it like pops back and forth like this.
Yeah.
So the roots of the Chicago scene are really quite pure, but also I think maybe Wax Trax overlooked that at the beginning.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
I mean,
Understandably so. I mean,
I did notice that there was something that they did where it was like, I don't know if this was affiliated with Wax Trax, but a benefit for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of the benefits, I would like to see that this happens again. These the concept of now that we can play live again and do all these things.
Yeah.
It'd be great to see I know Pigface was going to do one but didn't get a chance to, and
Yeah.
soon I think.
Yeah. Soon, you know, it's like soon it will, you know, it will eventually happen.
In the meantime, you can pick up one of the shirts here from the are these still available?
Yeah, they're still available. Yeah, they're still available.
And that's on the Post-Punk and Industrial Museum.
Yeah.
I remember when they Martin announced that, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta support, you know.
Yeah. Support is important here, especially since what we're talking about, how we don't realize it at the time, but later the takeaway is, wait, it really has been something.
Yeah, it is, you know. It's true. And then I get to talk to you.
And we finally get to sit down and have a nice long chat here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely.
I mean, I've really enjoyed it, and I really thank you for the time you've taken today to share the story with us, Charles.
Thanks, man.
I really hope that you know, our paths can cross in person soon, though. That it would be certainly enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I want to do some traveling.
Yeah, it was great seeing you at Cold Waves when I was there in Chicago. That was just like,
oh yeah, that was cool.
That was a great 3 days of this fun.
Yeah, I remember.
Up late and
bands. Sorry, I saw Mary Biker.
Do you have any goals coming up that we might be aware of, other than just getting yourself back feeling good?
Yeah,
other than already feeling good.
Well, this is one thing I want to do. From all the thanks to the fans and everything, I want to thank my incredible girlfriend, Danielle.
Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah, definitely. And
angel work.
28 years, and she's back, and we're back together, and she's my caregiver, and I love her very much. And I want to ask her in the next room, I want to ask her if she'll marry me.
Oh, so sweet.
I want her to be my wife. And we had our last ride out, and she means the world to me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You guys got to realize
something beautiful here.
Yeah, that's how we feel about you and the scene. You know, there are too many. We have too many and too few icons. You know, in the scene, and so it's very important to give thanks back. For home and city. We go back a long ways. In ways like I never thought. Like when we first met.
Yeah.
You first met me at my first job. Working at that record store in Seattle.
Yeah.
Way back when. Little did we know how our paths were going to connect.
I
That's
know.
just crazy.
Same for me, Dre. When I met you too, I never thought that I would grow to become like one of my closest friends, and that we'd be making music and all this stuff.
Yeah. It's like life is really bizarre like that, you know.
Yeah.
Because like Charles and I, we did this tour with one of the bands I was playing with, Scilab, got picked, and actually two of the bands I was in got picked.
Yeah, you was double duty.
Yeah, double duty. So we got to kick it. learned a lot from Charles on that tour too. You know, like he was a great road buddy to have. That's for sure. You know, like, over that way. You know, that's where all the danger is. You know.
Yeah. Don't watch out for him.
Get a box. Put all the crafts. Put all the leftover craft stuff in a box. Take it to the bus. You know.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd like to thank you again, and thank everybody for Patreon for hanging in there. I know you had you here for 2 hours, and we'd like to hear the answer to the question. Maybe you can fill us in on the future when you get the answer.
I think she'll say yes. I think she will.
Danielle, Danny,
Danny.
Best wishes to you guys.
Thank her again. Like
let us know the plans.
Yeah, thank you.
Angel work.
Yeah, she's shy. She won't come on the screen here. I love her very much. I love her.
I
see Kevin turned into a tune.
Yeah, I've been with her every day since. She's given up her career to watch out for me and care for me, and there's nothing else I'm looking forward to caring for her. I mean, I know it's gonna take. I know she doesn't want to. I don't have to worry about having the best ring or all the money. It'll all come. Hopefully, in my medical care and everything should all be okay. I love you.
Everything should be great, and keep us posted. Charles, thank you so much for joining us here today, and Dre, thank you for co-hosting here today, and you guys, thank you all for joining the Sunday Live chat. And Charles, as I said, keep us posted on that answer.
Yeah, I will. Definitely will.
Huge love to you out there, Charles, and thank you once again to everybody for all tuning in. And we'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you. See you.
Peace.